Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. 3 new criminal laws come into effect in India, replacing the 1973 Code of Criminal Procedure and British colonial-era Penal Code and Evidence Act. The far-right National Rally leads first round of France's parliamentary election. Exit polls put President Emmanuel Macron's alliance a distant third. India joins UN-led talks on Afghanistan in Qatar. It's the third meeting of its kind, but the first to include the Taliban. Indian diplomat meets Taliban spokesperson. And Hurricane Beryl approaches the island of Barbados in the Caribbean, delays Indian cricket team's return home after winning the T20 World Cup. India's justice system is getting a major makeover with 3 new laws replacing British colonial-era legislations. It aims for a faster trial, mandatory forensics, and a more victim-friendly system.
For over a century, India's criminal justice system operated under the shadow of its colonial past. Sluggish case processing and limited victim rights plague the system. However, a recent revolution is rewriting the narrative. In 2024, India ushered in a new era with the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshat Adhiniyam. These new laws replace the archaic British-era codes, aiming to streamline processes, empower victims and deliver swifter justice. Gone are the days of victims spending hours filing complaints. The cornerstone of this reform lies in speed and transparency. Today, a few clicks on a phone app can initiate the process. This online FIR or First Information Report system not only saves time but also empowers victims, especially those in remote areas or facing mobility limitations. But the reforms extend far beyond convenience. The new laws prioritize victims' rights, placing them at the center of the legal process. Witness protection programs ensure safety, and courts must consider victim input before dismissing a case. This shift in focus acknowledges the emotional and psychological toll crimes inflict. Furthermore, the system is becoming more inclusive. Elderly individuals, women and people with disabilities no longer face the additional burden of navigating crowded police stations. Investigations can now be conducted in the comfort of their homes, a small yet significant step towards accessibility. Technology can also play a crucial role in the new system. Mandatory forensics for serious crimes ensures stronger evidence collection, potentially leading to higher conviction rates. Additionally, virtual court appearances allow for swifter proceedings and eliminates the stress of travel for victims and witnesses. However, like any other major reform, challenges persist. Ensuring proper implementation across the vast and diverse Indian landscape is paramount. Concerns regarding potential misuse of police power also requires vigilant monitoring. Despite these hurdles, the new legal framework represents a significant leap forward. India's criminal justice system is no longer an archaic relic, but a system striving to be faster, fairer and more respectful of all those who seek its protection. This is a revolution with the potential to transform the lives of millions, offering them the hope of a justice system that truly works for them. Bureau Report, DD India.
So the Indian Parliament has passed 3 new criminal laws called the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam to replace the Indian Penal Code of 1860, the Criminal Procedure Code of 1973 and the Indian Evidence Act of 1872. The next report busts some myths related to them.
The newly enacted laws Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Saksha Act, which will completely overhaul the criminal justice system in the country, will come into effect from July 1st this year. The three laws got the Parliament's approval on December 21st last year, and President Draupadi Murmu gave her assent on December 25th. The laws will replace the colonial-era Indian Penal Code, the Code of Criminal Procedure, and the Indian Evidence Act of 1872, respectively. The three legislations aim at completely overhauling the criminal justice system in the country by giving definitions of various offences and their punishments. However, the provision related to the cases of hit and run by vehicle drivers will not be implemented immediately. There are several myths related to these three laws. Myth says sedition is gone but appears as Deshdroh in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. However, the truth is that the colonial legacy related to the sedition section in the IPC has been removed in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 brings clarity by explicitly defining Deshdroh as actions endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, Section 152 goes beyond criminalizing expressions causing hatred towards the government. It punishes acts such as armed rebellion, subversive activities and separatist activities.
Right, moving on, a United Nations-led two-day conference of special envoys for Afghanistan from nearly 24 countries is underway in Qatar. Now, this is the first time that the Taliban is participating in the gathering to discuss international engagement with Afghanistan since UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres initiated it. The Taliban delegation, led by its spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid, demanded an end to financial sanctions and expressed a desire for greater engagement with the West while dismissing curbs on women's freedom as a policy difference. Prior to the start of formal talks on Sunday, the Taliban held a bilateral meeting with an Indian diplomat, J.P. Singh. They discussed about the strengthening of the relations between the two countries. The Taliban thanked India for giving wheat and other assistance to Afghanistan. The Taliban spokesperson also held bilateral talks with representatives from Russia, Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar also visited Qatar on Sunday on a bilateral visit. He held talks with Qatar's Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani in Doha and reviewed the bilateral relationship with a focus on politics, trade, investment, energy, technology, culture and people-to-people ties. Qatar's Prime Minister, who also holds the Foreign Minister's portfolio, expressed his strong commitment to strengthening the ties with India. The two ministers exchanged views on regional and global issues. Minister Jaishankar appreciated his Qatari counterpart's insights on the situation in Gaza. Minister Jaishankar conveyed the greetings and warm wishes of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Emir of Qatar and the country's Prime Minister. And staying in the region, India's ambassador to Iran, Rudra Gaurav Shresth, met members of the Iran-India Business Chamber on 28th of June to discuss opportunities for collaboration between the businesses of the two countries. The meeting focused on leveraging synergies and complementarities to foster economic growth and development in both countries. A key focus of the discussion was the implementation of a recently signed agreement on operating the Chabahar port. The Chabahar port is an India-Iran flagship project that serves as an important transit for trade with Afghanistan and other Central Asian countries. India has been a key player in the development and operation of the Chabahar port. India and Iran recently solidified their collaboration by signing a long-term agreement to operate the Shahid Beheshti port terminal. This landmark deal underscores the strategic importance of the Chabahar Port Pact. In other news, an Indian Navy ship, Ranveer, docked at Chattogram in Bangladesh on Saturday as part of an operational deployment. Its visit comes just after the visit of the Prime Minister of Bangladesh to India. During the visit, Navy personnel from India and Bangladesh will engage in a wide range of professional interactions such as cross-deck visits and community outreach. The aim to strengthen the existing cooperation and maritime linkages between the two navies. And now take a look at what else is making news in India. Goods and Services Tax Day being observed in India. The GST was launched on the intervening night of 30th June and 1st July in 2017. It's a comprehensive indirect tax and it has transformed the country's tax system by eliminating multiple complex taxes levied by the national and regional governments. Goods and Services Tax simplify the tax structure by improving transparency and efficiency. In Mathura, a water tank collapsed, killing 2 women and injuring 13. The injured were admitted to hospital. Debris and water from the tank entered the houses nearby, damaging electrical equipment. Many vehicles parked on the road were also damaged. The Indian Army and the National Disaster Response Force were deployed. The Chief Minister of India's Uttar Pradesh state asked the authorities to register a formal police complaint against the guilty contractor. An ice and steel cycle expedition in India's Ladakh begins on Monday from Daulat Beg Oldi, which is located at an altitude of 16,700 feet. The team will cycle more than 753 kilometers at an average altitude of 15,000 feet, spanning 15 days to reach the breathtaking destination of Somoriri. The expedition is being held as a tribute to the heroes of the Kargil War of 1999. A national science competition was organized in Coimbatore for students between the ages of 12 and 17. A primary focus of the initiative was to promote an innovative mindset among the students and help them develop the 21st century skills now essential. The students showcased their creativity in tackling real-world problems and became part of the change by partnering with prestigious companies. Experts in the water resources sector from the United States and Canada visited the Polavaram project in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. Experts inspected the project site, including the diaphragm wall and 2 coffer dams and as well as the guide bund. Still to come on DD India Live. The US top court is likely to rule on a case concerning Donald Trump's claims of presidential immunity. North Korea launches ballistic missiles off its east coast. And the Wimbledon Championship begins on Monday.
Welcome to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. The far-right National Rally Party has dominated the first round of voting in France's parliamentary election. According to exit polls, the anti-immigration party National Rally secured 34% of the vote, while the left-wing coalition New Popular Front won about 28%. President Emmanuel Macron's centrist Ensemble party came third. The French president is urging voters to unite to block a national rally majority in the runoff election on the 7th of July. William Denslow reports from Paris.
There was a strong voter turnout in these elections, with early estimates saying that around 65% of the roughly 50 million eligible voters in France showed up to cast their ballots. We've heard from Marine Le Pen, the figurehead for the National Rally Party, who said that that strong voter turnout further strengthened the feeling of legitimacy in the National Rally's strong performance in this first round of voting. However, she says that the voting process is only halfway complete. She is urging supporters of the far right here in France to remain mobilised to secure an absolute majority for the party's leader, Jordan Bardella, next week. We have heard from French President Emmanuel Macron, who says that it is imperative for the French people to prevent that from happening. He says to do so, what is required is a clear democratic alliance for the second round. That's been a point somewhat reiterated by the left-wing coalition here in France, the New Popular Front. Some of its leaders say that it's imperative for its supporters to come together to prevent the National Rally from even securing one more seat next week. William Denslow in Paris reporting for DD India.
And across the Atlantic, the US top court is expected to rule on Monday on a case concerning Donald Trump's claims of presidential immunity. The former US president is facing 4 charges related to attempts to subvert the results of the 2020 election. Jagrati Dave has more.
Among the 4 charges levelled at Donald Trump, conspiracy to defraud the United States. On the last day of its term, the 9 justices of the top court will decide whether or not Donald Trump is immune from prosecution because of his position at the time as President of the United States. The trial has been held up for months as the Supreme Court considered Donald Trump's appeal. It is considered unlikely that the trial will begin before November's general election. And if Donald Trump regains the White House, it's possible that he could shut down the case altogether or even potentially pardon himself. Now, the former president has already been convicted of falsifying business records related to hush money payments. In this case, he has pleaded not guilty, claiming that the charges are politically motivated. Jagrati Dave in Washington, reporting for DD India.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced his new government on Sunday, with the opposition receiving 12 out of 32 portfolios following tough coalition negotiations after the ruling ANC lost its outright parliamentary majority. The African National Congress retained 20 out of 32 cabinet positions, including key ministries such as Foreign Affairs, Finance, Defence, Justice and Police. The largest coalition partner, the Democratic Alliance, will hold 6 portfolios, including Home Affairs, Environment and Public Works. The Zulu Nationalists, Inkatha Freedom Party and other smaller parties scored 6 portfolios in all. To the Indo-Pacific now, where North Korea has launched 2 ballistic missiles off its east coast. According to South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, a short-range ballistic missile was fired in a northeasterly direction at 20:05 GMT on Sunday from near the Changyeon in the South Hwanghae province of North Korea. A second ballistic missile was detected around 20:15 GMT from the same area. South Korea's military condemned North Korea's missile launches as a provocation that threatens peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. South Korea shared information on the missiles with the US and Japan. To South Asia now, as Nepal celebrated Rice Plantation Day, energy experts stressed on the use of alternate energy to bring food security to Nepal. Nepal's government has prioritized agriculture sector as a national priority by adopting modern agricultural technologies such as efficient solar-based irrigation techniques and energy-efficient mechanization to increase productivity and resilience to climate change. Right, and now take a look at what else is making news around the world. The Boeing Starliner project, which was expected to last only a few days, will now take more time as the first test with 2 astronauts on board is in limbo without any announcement of the exact date of return to Earth. It means that Indian origin Sunitha Williams is stuck in space for now. An official from the US space agency NASA said that extending Starliner's duration from 45 to 90 days is under consideration. Boeing agreed on Sunday to acquire Spirit Aerosystems for more than $4 billion. It hopes that this deal will ease a spiraling safety crisis. Boeing will pay $37.25 per share for Spirit Aero in an all-stock deal. An official announcement is likely on Monday. 3 people were killed after a small plane crashed onto a motorway in France. The aircraft crashed near Disneyland Paris after hitting an electric power cable. Emergency services were at the scene as passers-by filmed the incident as they drove past with a backlog of traffic forming. In Haiti's capital Port-au-Prince, garbage collectors are undertaking a major cleanup operation to clear the city's trash-filled streets. The accumulation of waste has become a significant public health concern, contributing to unsanitary conditions and attracting pests. The cleanup effort is a response to mounting pressure from residents who have been struggling with the impact of uncollected garbage on their daily lives. And now to news from the world of sport. Indian cricket fans might have to wait a little longer to see their T20 World Cup winning heroes back in the country, as the Rohit Sharma-led side's travel plans have been impacted by Hurricane Beryl in Barbados. After a grueling month-long T20 World Cup, the Indian cricket team is in the midst of celebrating its victory in Barbados as a Grade 4 hurricane approaches the island. The team recently emerged victorious in the first World Cup in either format since the 2011 50-over win. Its planned route was to New York City, followed by a connecting flight to Dubai and finally back to India. But the approach of the hurricane poses significant threat of flight cancellations. In tennis, the world's finest players will battle it out on the ultimate test of grass court, with the 137th edition of Wimbledon Championship beginning on Monday. Wimbledon is the penultimate Grand Slam tennis tournament of the year, and it will conclude with the men's singles final scheduled for 14th of July. All eyes will be on defending men's singles champion Carlos Alcaraz, who picked up his 3rd Grand Slam title after winning the French Open in June. Meanwhile, India's top men's singles player Sumit Nagal will make his maiden Wimbledon main draw appearance this year. In the men's doubles event, Indian tennis ace Rohan Bopanna will partner Matthew Ebden of Australia. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen now to download it. And let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.